Before the paper, I knew they would say, and I knew by the looks on their faces. Niggas mad cause I did what they wouldn't do, say what I couldn't do. Look, bitch, I made it, I made it. Came a long way from the basement. Body on me, I ain't playing, y'all. These niggas ain't playing fair. If I would've known better, I'd do better. Took some mess and I learned from a new level. Bought some new shovels and some new stressors, and I'm ready for war like whoever. They counted me out, I can't count it all. Cause little nigga, I ball. I put them points on the board every time that I shoot, I'ma score, and you know I'm a dog. I'm really appalled, don't need no applause. I know I'm a legend, my name on the wall. First record with platinum, my second with gold. Did it independent, no deal at all. And they said it's impossible. Got them high cause I did them without them though. I'm the same nigga, slept on the carpet floor. Even back then I knew that I be poppin', so I really ain't trippin'. I swear I ain't trippin'. I got in my feelings and got me a million. Couple people I thought would be with me, but they not, so it's fuck all them niggas. And then you next.
What's good with everybody, man? Hope everybody having a great night, things of that nature, man. And I just want to chop it up for a second. You know, there's a lot of misconceptions out there, and you know, we're gonna have some people to come break it down for us. I think a lot of people are misinformed about a lot of things. I think a lot of people misinformed about a lot of things. Of course, you know, I'm gonna have my guy Matt from Brunch Boxing come through. Of course, his co-host Ezra's coming as well. Matter of fact, I think Ezra is already in the building. Ezra, what's good with you, bro?
Hey, what's up? Thanks for having me on.
Man, already, man, for sure, man. And as you can see the thumbnail in front of you, man. You know, a person like me, you know, I think I listened to everybody before I even said one word. I looked at tweets, I was seeing and listened to what everybody was saying. And I just wanted to get, you know, your honest opinion. I know Matt is coming through as well. He's trying to finish up on something. And I just wanted to get your honest opinion on things, because, again, I know you come from a different perspective. And then, of course, it's not a biased opinion as well. And I actually validate and honor your opinion. So I definitely wanted you to come on and, you know, just give me your thoughts on the whole situation, because, again, I think a lot of people have so much to say, but they really don't know how testing works. Not do they know how testing works. And I don't think everybody's been following the timeline between the two, except for one side. So I wanted you to give your opinion on what you think as well.
Well, let me ask you a question. When they signed the contract, right, did they determine a date that testing had to begin?
That's the thing that everybody everybody wants to know. And personally, me, I know that there was a meeting about it, right? I know that there was a meeting about it, but I wasn't sure if there was a date contracted for that. That's the key piece, and I think that people are missing. So
yeah,
I
think it's important, but I do think that there's one towel that the date that they probably agreed to, I think, wasn't the date that they were asking Norman to start, because they said, we'll pay for it, no problem. Now, It would have been established already, right? Because obviously it would have been in the contract and the spread of the money. They would have said the testing is going to be a portion that comes out, right? But they said, Haney and Bill Haney said, we'll pay for you to start testing at this date. So it seems to me like they were trying to get Norman to test at an earlier time that was previously talked about. That was the issue I had with it. Now, you know, I prefer, testing and all that. I'm never going to be against that or anything like that. But I do think that if Norman said, hey, that's not the date we said, and we don't have a deal on that, and everything, I wouldn't blame him if he said, nah, we're not going to do that, right? Because I think there's also mind games to it. I think there's also, you know, as far as just feeling like who's the control, who's the A side, whatever, all those things.
Right.
But I'm just curious on the date. That's the part I'm most curious about.
Right. And I also got Matt Also got Matt in here from Brunch Boxing as well, man. What's going on, Matt?
Hey, what's going on, fellas? How you guys doing tonight?
I'm doing all right, bro. And I talked to you, and here's the crazy part about it. Like I was telling Matt, I was on Champ side earlier, and Champ side my guy. That's definitely my guy. And there was a question that was asked. It was about testing from his past and prior fights, and we personally had this conversation, Matt. You told me that there was going to be testing for the Jen Sasaki fight, and I was like, bro. Senior said that there's no testing, like there's none. You was like, nah. If there's not any leading up, there'll probably be from the commission, and that's exactly what happened. And just tell the people how that conversation went between us, Matt.
Well, because here's the thing that boxing fans need to understand, and I don't think they do understand. Every fight does not have extra VADA testing. What every fight has is testing from the commission the day of the fight or maybe the day of the weigh-in. Like once you're on commission grounds and you're weighing in and all that stuff, then the commission will test you. But if you don't have a separate contract, which is usually paid for by the promoter that's running the event, if you don't have a separate contract that says, hey, we're going to do this extra testing starting on this date leading up to the fight, then there will be no testing until the commission does the testing.
Mm. And that's exactly what you told me, because I was like, bro, listen. The man said it ain't no testing. He was like, nah, bro, it's definitely gonna be testing in Japan. He may not say nothing, but I'm like, no, he said this. He was like, well, if that's the case, then there's gonna be urine tests, or there's gonna be a test from the commission. And that's exactly what happened. We as a whole just found out that there was testing for that fight. Now it may not have been VADA testing, but there was
No, no, it wasn't VADA tested. But with the VADA thing, people have to understand that VADA is not the only agency that does drug testing. So we have to stop acting like it has to be VADA. There are other testing agencies. Most commissions have their own testing agency that they use. Some of them use Quest Diagnostics. Some of them use like different things. Um, you got Drug Free Sport, which some people use. You have well, USADA doesn't really do boxing anymore because nobody contracts them, but you could theoretically do USADA. You could contract any agency to do testing. It doesn't have to be VADA. People have to get out of the mindset that it has to be VADA testing.
right. So let me ask both of you guys this question. Is there a difference between being enrolled in VADA and 365?
Yes. So when someone says they're enrolled in the 365 VADA, that means that they signed up for the year-round VADA, which I think, if I'm not mistaken, Devin Haney is enrolled in that, and there might be one other fighter, or he might be the only one that's enrolled in that. Most fighters are not going to pay for that year-round because for what? Like, why are you going to pay for that year-round? Um, I know Nonito Donaire,
Dodera,
uh,
yeah, Dodera was in
who's
there.
a buddy of mine. He was the first one to ever sign up for the VADA 365 testing. Now, when people say he signed up for VADA, they usually mean that they have that separate contract leading up to a fight where, hey, say like me and you, Tay, we're gonna fight, let's say we're gonna fight October 1st. We signed a contract today. We're gonna have a separate contract that says, hey, starting on August 1st, we are gonna do random drug testing leading up to and through the fight. That's what people usually mean when they say sign up for VADA.
Right. Mm. I think that was very valuable because just going through different different channels, man, it's been a headache, and I don't think people understand that there's a difference. Now there was a video that was lingering. No, and I think it was like the video. Okay. There was a video that
Your
yeah,
mic's all messed up, man.
yeah, Mike messed up, brother. Might have to get that mic fixed, brother. But I know that there was definitely a meeting about it. I think that was like the first night, their first night in New York. As to where you seen where they first met each other in the lobby. This is before all the altercation and stuff. There's a little bit at the end of that video. I wish I had it in 4K right now, but there's a little bit of that video where he turns around when they was getting ready to walk off. He says, "We enrolled in VADA." If you read the lips carefully, you can definitely see what they said that. You see, I think Norman said it first. I don't know if they heard him, but then you also see Devin Bill turn around and look, and that's when you see Senior say, "We enrolled in VADA," and then it was like something like, "Okay, you did. Okay, that's what's up," and they shook hands, and that's when you see them go their different ways. So that's there. You can definitely see that's there. I know that there was a meeting about it because Bill tweeted about it 2 days before everybody was in New York, right? So when people say he's not enrolled, but then Devin also tweets out and says, "Sign the paperwork like you said that you was already enrolled." I'm trying to interpret, is he talking about the 365 or he's talking about him being enrolled in generally? That was one of the questions that I asked.
It seems to me though like it was just enrolled for the fight, and I think that what Haney that we're saying is I thought we were going to get an earlier date for enrollment, and what Norman was saying, from what I interpreted the tweets and the things was, well, no, we were going to do it at a different day. I'm not going to do it this day because I'm not going to be, I'm going to go on vacation or I'm going to get out of town, right? And then when I come back, we'll settle that. And they said, no. And Haney and them say that they wanted it right away. So that's where, to me though, like I said, that should have been established when you made the fight. There has to be a date that was established that says at this point we're in VADA testing. And if it wasn't, then you can't try to force someone to get on the VADA testing when you feel like it's best for you. I just think that should have been handled in negotiations.
I do too. So me personally, like I just think this, and I think I look at it from both sides. Do Devin, what's the word? Well, let me put myself in the father's shoes because I am a father. If I am the father, right, I do look at this. I do say, you know what? We ain't going to go through the same shit that we went through Orion with. So I'm going to damn sure make sure everything is on the up and up. So I do believe that Devin has, I do believe that they crossing their I's and dotting their T's. I also do believe that they have every right to as well, right? I do believe that they have every right. The part that I only disagree with, because I as a former fighter or a fighter, however you want to put it, I believe there should be testing as well. They're trying to enforce the whole year-round thing, and again, like Matt said, everybody can't pay for that, and that's nothing wrong with that. But there should be some type of indicative testing. I do totally agree with it. But the part that I don't agree with is trying to force your hand at the time that you want it. But then again, certain people don't know that there's certain stipulations within the contract. Like you said, what was the date? What did the contract say? But for us out, because when I talk to Norman or Junior, we don't talk about boxing all the time. You see what I'm saying? Now it'd be different. I say, hey, bro, what the contract say? Or this, and third. Like, I don't get into that stuff, right? But me looking at it, it's more of trying to show your power. You know what I mean? And the reason why I say I come with that solution or that concept is because look at the tweet, do as you're told. That's almost trying to bully, right? Not only is it like trying to bully, it's pretty much showing that you run things, you're controlling things. But the last time I checked, this word's a Turkey Al-Sheikh card. So threatening to pull out a fight because someone said that they was going to wait till they come off vacation. Now, I don't think that Norman had anything to hide at all. I even was on record stating that what he said, he stated that he was like, am I on their time or are they on my time? Norman, like I said before, he looks at this as his job. I mean, this is his job. The kid literally, I think he might have had 1 or 2 different jobs in his whole life outside of boxing. So he look at this as a 9 to 5. It's just like any of us who have, regular jobs or who have, their own business. When it's time to go on vacation, it's time to go on vacation. We don't want to deal with this. So I look at it from both aspects. I look at it from a fighter aspect, and I look at it from a regular civilian aspect. It's just like when we go on vacation. Ezra, do you want to be bothered with me talking about boxing when you're on your vacation?
No.
Okay. It's the same scenario. So when I see someone say "fuck your vacation," then I see someone say "do as you're told." What does that raise to you, Ezra?
Yeah, they're trying to control them.
That my point
To
is that.
me, that's the thing, and I get what you're saying as far as like Bill wants to make sure the same thing doesn't happen again. But the problem is that if they were on top of their stuff, then they would have got it at the date that they wanted it. So apparently, they didn't get the date they wanted, and now they're trying to do it after the fact. And like I said, the end result was he signed up for Vada, whatever. There's nothing to go here. But to me, it is a mind game. To me, it is a control factor and trying to kind of put Norman in his place. I think it's more that than anything. And I think that, yeah, I think it's just more mental. I think it's more of a mental game. And I understand. To me, I was never. I understood 100% why Norman not wanting to do it because it
Right.
just made perfect sense to me.
And that's why I came up where that's when I said that, you know what, this to me after like, and I didn't say nothing for a minute, right? But it looked to me as like this was more like a dick measuring contest. I'm trying to flex my muscle on you to see, are you gonna abide by my rules? And you're threatening me. You see what I'm saying? Just I'm looking at it from a standpoint of okay, like, well, if Turkey said he was paying for 18 weeks, Norman Jr. agreed to do 16 weeks, but you want these additional 2 weeks. What's so important about those additional 2 weeks? Now I don't have a problem with it, but I think the missing piece, and only the fighters would know, or if you got, or if you work for Bill, you'll know the exact, the dates, right? But you can't talk about something and don't have those dates out there. You see what I'm saying? Because it seems like nobody knows the dates or what was on the contract. Now I did talk to AC, which is his manager, and he told me straight up. He said, "Bro, listen, he don't have a problem with what they requested. That's what they requested. Whether it was requested on a date before or if it was after, that's what they requested. You see what I'm saying?" He said, "Bro, I don't really get into all the other stuff. I really just handle business." So my question to him was, would you have rather for this to been public, or would you have rather them call or text you first if it was that serious of a matter? Ezra, what would you do, or what would you have done if that was you?
Well, so see, to me, if I'm Norman, that's what would piss me off the most is that they did take it straight to social media. They didn't go through. They could obviously get in touch with them. They could get in touch with his team and be like, "Hey, we want to make sure that the testing gets going. Where are we at with that?" But that's how I know that it was more of a mental thing. It was more of a publicity thing to start creating some kind of doubt on Norman or just get in his head, whatever. That's clearly what they were trying to do because he wouldn't go straight to social media with it.
Matt, you back working over there, Matt?
Yeah, my mic should be working. We good.
Oh,
No,
it
no,
is
no.
not.
It's still acting crazy.
Yeah, because I don't know why. I guess it's the settings that you have on StreamYard. I have to sign in through web browser instead of the StreamYard app because it's asking me to sign into YouTube or something like that.
But
You
no,
sound good now.
I can you clear now.
Yeah, yeah. All right, good, good, good. That's good. But what I was gonna say is, I'll be honest. I feel like Team Haney were like planting seeds to end up pulling out of the fight.
Mm,
That's what I truly believe. What's happening here? Because if you wanted to test in a certain date, put it in the contract. Like it to me, it just doesn't make sense that you would have a contract, you have a date, and then you run the social media to try to change the date. It just doesn't make any sense to me, But I will say, from Brian Norman Jr.'s side, I wasn't too crazy about the statement he put out saying, "Oh, I'm on vacation." So what? I mean, all you simply have to say is, "Listen, this is the contract. This is the deadline. I'm abiding by the contract." That's
yeah,
it, and just leave it at that. All that
right.
other extra stuff, because Like, obviously, he's not doing anything wrong, but you got to
Mhm.
learn how to play the PR game because
Oh, exactly.
it's
Yeah. Yeah.
clear that these guys are playing the PR game. You know, whether and I think it's intentional by Bill and Devin. I don't think anyone disagrees with that. It's very intentional. They're playing the PR game, so you have to play the PR game too. Hey, and even if you got to say, hey, well, this is the date on the contract. The contract says August 1st. If you want to give out the specific date of the contract, then do that. Then do that because they're the ones that brought this to social media. This could have been something that could have been handled in private, but they chose to run the social media because they probably knew that they didn't have a leg to stand on. So they wanted to see if they could poison the public well to get you to move on something that you don't have to move on.
And so, and that's one of the reasons why I think I also tweeted that out as well. I said, man, they painted this for the fans, and the fans went crazy with it because personally, like you said, I think Norman Jr. could probably have said it better, definitely with the on the PR side. But he already knew, like, bro, like they're playing games, and then of course, like I said before, just like a dick measuring contest. You're trying to see if you got big kahunas and boss people around and bully people and things of that nature, right? And so, with that being said, it's almost to the point to where you're playing this villain role when you don't have to. What is the point, and why take that route?
You know, the funny thing about that is that they're fighting in Saudi Arabia, so none of it is going to matter. It's not like he's going to have like some raucous, large crowd that's like booing him and stuff like that. You're fighting in Saudi Arabia, my man. You're going to be fighting in front of, at most, 6,000 people, which is what the A and B arena holds, and is most likely going to be half empty. And it's probably going to be people who don't care about Devin Haney or Brian Norman. They're just there because it's fucking Riyadh, you know. So who are you performing for, my man? Like, I don't get it. Just
But
put your
but
head down, get in the gym, get to work, watch some tape, come and try to win the fight. That's
but
it.
how much foot traffic will this fight generate outside the arena? That's the part you're not acknowledging.
Um, well, that's
I
a
mean, are
good
we looking
question.
Times Square numbers here?
Oh man. Well, it's not going to be pay per view. Remember?
I'm just saying the foot traffic outside of the arena. That's what I'm
Yeah.
curious about.
Well, 7 million people live in Riyadh, so maybe it's going to be 7 million people around the arena the day of the fight. Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. I just think that it was in poor taste for the Haneys. I think it was poor form, and this is not the first time that they did it. You can look back to when the fight with Jose Ramirez was signed. Bill
Mhm.
Haney put out a tweet talking about, hey, Jose Ramirez and Roller Romero hasn't signed up for VADA testing yet. What's going on here? Are they juicing? Blah 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 blah. They get cold feet or something like that, right?
Mhm.
But I knew for a fact that Bill was 100% wrong, especially when it came to Rolly Romero, because I knew the person that was handling Rolly Romero's paperwork, and it was submitted.
Mm.
So I tweeted to Bill, hey, said Bill, what are you talking about here with this thing with Rolly? Just so you know, Rolly's already enrolled, that he enrolled on so and so date, and that he went and deleted the tweet. But to me, the damage is already done. You're trying to put a stain on people in the eyes of the public just because you feel some type of way about what happened with you and Ryan Garcia. You know what? Then take that up with Ryan Garcia. Don't take that up with other people.
Mm. See, I missed that. You know what? I think didn't you say something about that on Brunch Boxing?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I remember you saying that. Now that just rang a bell. So what about Jose Ramirez? Do you have any information on what happened with the Jose Ramirez
Yeah,
situation?
he had enrolled too. That's why Bill deleted the tweet. The thing about Bill, and I know people that say, "Well, he's a good father," blah 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 blah. Listen, that shit ain't got nothing to do with the business of boxing, and it ain't got nothing to do with you throwing smut on somebody else's name. That's what you're doing. I don't like your relationship with your son. Nobody cares about that. That's between you and your son and his mama and all that shit. Nobody cares about that. But you're throwing smut on other fighters' names, and you get upset when there's backlash for it.
Right,
So if you can't handle the backlash, then shut the fuck up.
right. No, I totally understand that. But see, I'm trying to, people would say, "Oh, you just telling one side of this, and third." But I'm looking at it from both sides. Like I said, like I was telling Ezra when you had clicked off for a minute, I was telling him like I understand Bill position, I understand Devin position. They're trying to cross their I's and dot their T's. I
Yeah,
get it.
yeah, but what position do they have? If to me, Tay, if they're trying to cross their dots and dot their T's, or no, cross their T's
And
and
dot
dot
dot.
their I's, where do you do that at? In the fucking contract. You do
Yeah,
that in
that's my
a
that was my
contract.
point. Yeah,
You don't do that on social media. You do it in a contract. They should
And
have
I
had it in the contract. That's it.
I asked so and this, like I said before, I don't when I talk to Junior, we don't always talk about boxing. That's literally not the first thing we talk about. Even though we talk about other shit. We always been like that. It ain't always about boxing. So I understand. I think the key missing piece, unless you work for Bill, keep missing pieces. What did the contract date was, or what was required on that date? And I don't think nobody has said anything about the date or know anything about the date.
Well, I hope that Brian Norman will come out and say what the date was, because I think that that is very important.
Right,
Come out and just tell the people what the date was. Like, you're very transparent to begin with, so just come
right,
out and say, hey, this was the date. So I'm not too sure why they ran the social media when this is the contract we negotiated. If they wanted a different date, they should have negotiated a different date. Like, I don't care. I don't care one way or the other what the date is, but put it in the fucking contract. Let's sign the contract and let's move on with our lives.
right. Now, what I can say, what I do know about Junior, he's a nonchalant type of person. So if you being petty, he the type of person he'll be petty too. It's like I don't think it was more so of him just trying to push back. He was just like, listen, man, I'm not dealing with this shit while I'm on vacation, right? And he don't have a problem testing for anything, but I think it's more so of him knowing that they're trying to push around their weight. You know what I'm saying? It was one of those things where he literally waited 2 days and then rode. You know what I mean? So it's like maybe he knew that all along. And I think again, a dick measuring contest. You know what I'm saying? Where trying to manipulate the fans, get the fans talking, get content creators talking and things of that nature. You know what I mean? And that's exactly what happened. That's in my eyes, for me sitting back watching, not saying anything outside of just, tweeting. That's what I see and that's what I perceive. Do you see it any way different? Do any one of you guys see it any different?
no, I think it's what it was. Like I say, that's why Haney and them went through social media, and I think like Matt was saying, and I was saying earlier, is it wasn't the contract. It definitely wasn't, because that's why Bill and Haney and them tweeted that they would pay for it. If they had to extend extra time on the testing, that's because the testing wasn't established to be paid for in those amount of weeks. That means they were adding to it. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I obviously they were trying to. I think it was a mental game, establish the dominance on who's the A side, and all those things there. And Norbert just wasn't. He was just like, hey, that's not what we agreed to, and I'm trying to do this. But all in all, end up with him joining the testing pool, so it got resolved.
Well, I
So
look at it differently. I look at it as, don't be surprised if they pull out the fight. And
you
I'll
think
leave
they
it
would
at that.
now see that, and that's the thing that I don't. It's hard for me to say that, right? It's hard for me to say that. Yes, I know Bill, personally said that he they wasn't even trying to fight Brian. I mean, it's public now because of course what happened between him and Norman Senior. But Yes, he did say, well, we're not even trying to fight Brown. We weren't even trying to really fight Brown Norman Jr. We was trying to see what happens with Shakur and Williams, the beta outcome, because we want to offer Shakur a contract. So that lingers in the back of my head, but I can't see them just pulling out of a fight, coming this far after Turkey done put this together. Now, yes, I've been to Saudi Arabia where Devin was there. Dad and father and son came back into the locker room. I know they personally spent time with in Saudi, personally spent time with Turkey. They the same religion, so I understand it. But it's business as well. Do you think that they really would have pulled out or trying to figure a way out? Do you think that?
I honestly, I do. I
Mm,
do because it to me, it doesn't make sense. You have a contract, you have a deadline. So what's the whole thing on social media? And I see you have a comment from Jimmy Boxer that says, "I heard Bill say today that 365 testing was to start right after contracts were signed." That's not true, because if it was true, he would not have been on social media, because Brian Norman Jr. would have been in violation of the contract. So we have to learn how to use discernment. Just because someone says something doesn't make it true. Okay? When you have a contract, if there's a deadline and Brian Norman Jr. is in violation of the deadline on the contract, then there are repercussions for that. You know?
mm-hmm,
So let's not pretend like just because Bill said that it's true. And I've seen a VADA contract before, and it is separate from the regular contract agreement. It's separate. I've
mm,
seen the VADA contract. They have a deadline where they have to turn it in.
mm,
So for Bill to say that, if he said that, I'm just going off of what Jimmy Boxer is saying. If he said that, then that's not true, because he would have known the dates. He could have said, "Hey, you're supposed to enroll by so and so. You want to start on so and so." Why would you have a problem? Why would you have a problem with him starting on August 1st? Um, if the contract says something different, you would just say, "Nah, the contract says something different."
mm. Micah in the building. She says, to me, I feel like this was a seed planted. If Norman wins, people will have this thought of him being on PDs in the back of their minds. Mm. What do you think
That
about that, Ezra?
Well, I mean, if he does the testing, I think that we'll probably forget all this happened. Honestly, it will be much ado about nothing. I think it's more of just a mental game already establishing, leading to the fight. I think that I think that this is kind of how Bill Haney plays it for build-ups of fight and for trash talk. He just tries to just get anything he can to poke at you. He's gonna do. That's kind of what they did here.
well, I don't know about you, Ezra, but whenever I hear people are crying over drug testing, it really makes me want to purchase that fight more. Like what, bro? Like what are we doing here?
What's up to Nike, man? Damn, that's crazy. So, but why you feel that way though, man? Why you make you want to watch it even more?
Nah, I was just being a dick. It doesn't. And my point is, all this shucking and jiving that Bill is doing on Twitter is not going to sell the fight more. You know what sold the fight? Brian Norman Jr. Hip tossing Devin Haney security.
Well, wait a
That's what
minute,
that
wait a
that's what
minute,
sold the
wait a
fight.
minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. Now, hey, can you say that again?
Yeah, he hip tossed the security. We saw it,
Now, guess what? There was people telling me I was lying that happened.
bro. We got eyes.
Yeah, it was a video.
That's the same thing I said. I was like, damn, unless my eyes playing tricks on me, I saw he got flipped. He looked like he almost landed face first.
I
If
will
not,
say this though. I will say this.
mm-hmm.
I do not think it's a coincidence that after they saw how strong that little country motherfucker was, all of a sudden they start talking about drug testing.
You know what? And I thought of that. I thought that to myself as well. I thought that to myself as well. And that's when you see, I guess Devin got mad at me or whatever because he told me Tay knock it off or some shit like that in the tweet. And I'm like, shit, he need to sue a security guard because he got hip tossed. That's what I saw. I wasn't lying. That's what I saw. Plenty of other people saw it, but then he got some people who say, no, he got hemmed up. His shirt was over his head. I never denied that shit. He even made fun of it. But I did see somebody damn near hit face first from the floor, and it wasn't Brian Owen Jr. and Senior, God bless him, because I know he popped his what do you call that? He popped his bicep sparring with me. So I know he literally just had surgery maybe like a month or two ago. So he's still healing from that. Man, that could have turned all bad. That could have been that could have turned all bad. That could have been real bad. You know, and if I'm gonna lie to you, you know, if it was me, shit, I'm getting me some money. Fuck them. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting me some money.
I'll sue you.
Right. You know, I'm getting me some money. You know what I mean? But at the same time, you know, but I you know, I think it was more so of, you know, you had people saying that he apologized and things of that nature, but cool. I mean, that's fine. But I actually think the ammunition has been lit. And I know that from just talking to Norman. And he explained that to me in a very detailed message. So I know that there was an ammunition lit up under him. And he's like, bro, I'm not going to worry about it, but he's definitely going to have to worry about that on the 22nd.
Now, hey, if you see this from Jimmy Boxing that says, I don't understand, if you're clean, you should be willing to test at any time. What does that have to do with the goddamn contract? Just put it in the contract. He never said he's not willing to not test at any time. Put it in the fucking contract.
And the most important part that I keep going back to is the Haney's offer to pay for the additional testing. So that means if they wanted to test more, Norman would have had to pay out of pocket to get the additional testing because it wasn't in the contract.
And not only that, Ezra, what it means, if the Haneys were willing to pay for it, that means that it wasn't in the contract.
Exactly. Wasn't
That's
established.
on you. Yeah, that's on you then. That's on you.
And I think that's the piece that everybody is not understanding. I think that's the piece that everybody is not understanding. Like I say, I'm sitting here looking at it from both sides. But again, it seemed, like I said before, it seems like it was a contest. Like, I'm just going to flex. I'm going to flex my muscle on you. That's what it seems like. And I just can't see it no other way. Although I did say this. I can see where Bill is coming from. I can see where Devin coming from, right? But when you tweet after the fact of things being put in place, such as I do as you're told, such as fuck your vacation. When I see those things, it only suspect me to think like, this really not about testing. Now, with that being said, I wanted to ask this. Say he did enroll on I think it was Sunday, right? He rolled on Sunday, I believe it was, right? Because I know Senior called me and said, you know, it's been mighty quiet, in which it has. Since he's enrolled, I think that other little guy who had them on his show, he put out that Brian Norman signed up for VADA starting immediately instead of August 1st, right? With that being said, does that mean that he's going to be tested right then and there and immediately?
I don't know. Nobody knows. It's random.
It's random, right?
Nobody should know.
So nobody should know. And they was crying over, well, they come to you. Does that mean that they could come to him on his vacation? Yes, it does mean that. But will they go to him while they're on his vacation? So again, for me, like I said before, it didn't matter if it was signed then or if it was signed the first. There's no telling if they was going to see him for that week. It's no telling.
There's no telling if they're going to see him for a month or 2 months. No one is supposed to know. It's supposed to be completely random.
Like it says, do as you're told, but threaten to pull out the fight doesn't go together. Hmm. Exactly. It says I'm looking for a reason to get out this motherfucking fight. Man, I just come to a conclusion, like I said before. I've seen it from all different perspectives. I went on plenty channels and listened. But I think today was the one that did it. Again, like I said before, I remember, like I said, I remember vividly telling you, Matt, that there was going to be no testing for the Jen Sasaki fight. And I remember you gave me pushback. It's like, nah, brother, nah, yo, it's going to be testing. Trust me. I'm like, Matt, the man said it ain't no testing. He was like, bruh, trust me, it's going to be testing. So I think that's what did it today because people try to perceive it as I was lying. I'm like, no, nobody knew that he took a urine test until he said it. But then the only thing I can think about when he said that was, damn, Matt was fucking right.
Yeah, there's always testing for every fight. It's just the amount of testing is contracted. So the commission does their testing. That's guaranteed for every fight. But if separate contract, which some people contract violence, some people use drug free sport, you have a separate contract that says we're gonna do testing up until 8 weeks or so before the fight, then that's different. But every fight has testing. So for example, okay, the all women's card that MVP just put on, none of those fights, except for the main event, had drug testing leading up to the fights.
Mm,
All they had was the commission drug testing, which was it'll probably be the day before the fight, which is like the weigh-in, and the day of the fight. Those are the only times those girls were tested, and I know this to be for a fact. Okay,
right,
the Jake Paul, Julio Cesar Chavez card that just had the commission testing also, and that's all right. That's the standard in boxing. If you want to go out and you want to do something extra, that's fine. If you feel like you know some scientific thing where, oh, they're gonna get the benefit if they did this 3 weeks before, fine. Then then sign up for extra testing. But people got to realize it has to be paid for, and it has to be paid for by the promoter. Like these niggas ain't making Floyd Mayweather money where they can control the drug testing to pay for all that shit themselves. Like the drug tested is like tens of thousands of dollars. Not everybody got it like that
right,
to do that 360 not 365 but do that random testing leading up to the fight. It has
right.
to be done through the promoter. Now we have a question from Jimmy Boxon. What is this narrative about Victor Conti and Snack? He hasn't been dealing with Snack for over 10 years. That's just not true. That is just not true. Victor Conti has been dealing with Snack and founded Snack in 1987. Snack has been around since 1987. Okay, so
Jimmy coming up here spread misinformation.
yeah, Jimmy. I don't know who Jimmy is or where he's getting all this misinformation from, but yeah, Snack been around since 1987. My man, go look it up. Go Google Victor Conti.
So now, and I almost left that out in the discussion because Norman Jr. did do, I guess he did a podcast with Sean Giselle and Portaway podcast. That's it. Guess he did an interview with them. Now people jumped on that, and he spoke about Devin and Conte relationship. Now publicly, I do remember when Victor Conte was asked if he know how to manipulate and pass a VADA test. And what did he say? He said
I don't
yes.
I don't pay attention to Victor Conti, but I'm
Right.
pretty sure he knows how to get around a test. And whether or not he knows how to get around a test, we do have to, as boxing fans, we have to remember the relationship that Victor Conti has with Vada and how he was instrumental in the creation and promotion of Vada in the sport of boxing. So whether or not he still has involvement, it looks like a conflict of interest regardless.
Right. And then on top of that, I think I'm not I'm not sure, but a couple people I have seen it in the chat over and over, like all day, people saying and stating that, you know, Devin did say that Victor Conte was his godfather. So I think, I'm not sure I don't know if they was talking to no, if you listen to the interview, it kind of seems like they had a conversation before the interview started. And I think I heard Sean or someone say they was just talking about that. So they made me say, like, well, damn, was they talking about this while before they came on or what? For them to ask that question. Then you also see Bill tweet out and said, well, Sean was the person who introduced us to Victor Conte and Snack. What do you think about that?
I think Bill put that out there to invalidate Sean Zattel. So he's saying, hey, Sean Zattel, your guy, Sean Porter, is the one that introduced us. So if you're talking about us, you're talking about Sean Porter. He's trying to distract people with the whataboutisms. So I don't pay attention to that. Who cares?
What you think, Ezra?
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. Like I said, he's trying to make it seem like, whatever they're trying to say, this is, this guy knows what's going on. But I'm curious, is Haney ever not done body testing for a fight? Like, has he ever done another testing? We brought up other testing. Has he ever done any of the other ones?
That I don't know.
Do you know offhand, Matt?
No, I don't know offhand.
Hmm.
I'm just curious about that. I like I said, I think Haney's a clean fighter. I don't really, as far as the being able to sneak the stuff through and all that. I don't know. I think that we get a little bit of conspiracy theorists when that stuff comes and all that. So I don't think that's happening. But yeah, I wouldn't mind to say, hey, if I was fighting, I would say let's go through a different party, right? A different testing party than the one we usually do.
Trick Notes is one of my guys, man. He say, to the gentleman on the panel, I saw a VADA newsletter from the Spence versus Ugas fight, and some names were blacked out and some wasn't. So what does that mean by the names being blacked out?
It may not be a name being blacked out. It may be an email or like some type of personal information that get redacted. If you look at some of these VADA letters that go out, they redact like the email, so people like me don't go harassing random people online.
That's crazy. Yeah, it's been a lot of turmoil, man. And like I said before, I just been trying to resonate with everybody and see, you know what I'm saying, like what is the problem? Because again, like I said before, now you got people making videos about what Junior said about Victor Conte or whatever like that, and you get pushback and talk about, well, what about all the other Snack athletes? But this is for me, right? I remember when people was talking about Snack years ago. When people were saying, they think people who's on Snack has, some type of chemical in their body. It's been said for years. Even when I think, matter of fact, the latest that I can remember from a fight back then was the Julian J. Rock Williams versus what's the kid name who was the champion at 154? Not Charlo, but the Jerry Hurd. If you look at the body types of Julian J. Rock Williams before he fought Jerry Hurd, and you look at Julian J. Rock Williams on that night when he first got with Snack, his body looked totally fucking different. And that was one of the things I wish I don't know if it was an older account that I had. I think it might be my second account, my first account that I have on Twitter that I tweeted it out. I was like, damn, J. Rock is some shape. And I believe somebody did hit me and said, well, he was Snack now, But Ryan Blue Chip Martin, he's another guy. He was taking Snack stuff, and I'm not sure if you guys heard his story. I did an interview with Ryan Blue Chip Martin. We was in the same gym in Tennessee, and we talked about that. He was pretty much saying how after the Josh Taylor fight, they was pretty much trying to say that he popped dirty, but they won't tell him what he took. But he knows he didn't take any steroids. He knows that he didn't take anything outside of what he was taking. And guess what he said he was taking?
He was on that snack.
Yes.
Well,
I think I still got that interview up. I think I still got that interview up. I think I still, because for whatever reason, YouTube tried to shadow ban me maybe like 2 years ago. So a lot of stuff I had to erase because I didn't know where it was coming from. They wouldn't tell me. But definitely, I did an interview with Ron Blue Chip Martin, and he told me that. And not only did he say it publicly, there's people in his chat right now who was there when I did the interview who could tell you and validate what I'm saying.
what I will say about snack, personally, I don't think Victor Conti should be in the sport of boxing. To me, Victor Conti is the biggest, most notorious drug cheat in the history of American sports, and I just don't think that he should be in boxing. Now, as for the athletes that associate with Victor Conti, if people want to put suspicion over you because you're associated with Victor Conti, that's on you. You know his reputation. If you still want to do business with him because you believe in him and you think he's changed, then you have to deal with the public backlash and the suspicion that comes from dealing with Victor Conti.
I mean, yeah, I think that's fair, right? Like that's fair, especially if you're the Hades and you're throwing allegations because the guy did sign up for a thing that didn't even get a contract. Then I think it's fair to people say, hey, this guy's been known to cheat, and you're pretty in there with him, right? So I think that's a fair, at least to talk about, right? That's a fair thing to bring up.
And Nika says, I feel like the fighters should mutually agree on which Texan company to use. It shouldn't be mandated to use VADA.
I agree. Especially since VADA doesn't actually adhere to the WADA code. So one key difference between VADA and the WADA code is that the WADA code, which is the World Anti-Doping Authority, which is what's used worldwide, globally in all sports, they have what's called um, in and out of competition list. So you have some type of drugs that are okay outside of competition because it's not really performance enhancing. And then you have drugs that are not okay. The same drugs might not be okay in competition. The thing about VADA is that VADA does not differentiate between in and out of competition. They just say that it's banned, which which is why sometimes it looks like VADA catches more people than other agencies. Well, it's easy to catch more people when you are flagging people for drugs that they shouldn't be flagged for.
Right.
Like, for example, I don't know if people remember the situation with Billy Joe Saunders, who,
I
when
remember.
he
I
was going
remember.
to fight Demetrius Andrade,
Yes.
the VADA test came up for auxilafrin. Now, auxilafrin is banned in competition, but it's not banned out of competition, which means that you can take auxilafrin up to 24 hours before you're supposed to fight.
Mm.
But with VADA, you can't take it at all. The same thing happened with yeah, it was another fighter. I can't think of his name. I don't want to be wrong, but yeah, that's why it always seems like VADA catches more people. It's because they don't adhere to the set of standards agreed to by the world authorities.
Mm. Okay. Okay. All right. Well, I'm hoping people, are listening because again, some people, again, I mean, people gonna hear what they want to hear. That's number one thing. People gonna hear what they want to hear. Whether they take it and use it or not is another thing. Like I said before, there's always two sides. Well, there's actually three sides to a story. But again, like I said before, trying to insinuate that someone is using PEDs just because they aren't enrolled or haven't enrolled don't mean that they're on PEDs. But I think me knowing Junior, it was one of those things like, man, listen, because and he thinks along with you guys that they're trying to get out the fight. He even stated it. But he really wants this fight. He really wants this fight. And he's like, you know what? Fuck it. I don't have anything to hide, but I'm just not on their time. I'm gonna sign up, but it's gonna be on my time, which is why it was done 2 days later, or a day and a half later, I believe it was, or 2 days. It's one of them.
Now I see we have a couple questions in the chat.
Mhm.
Jimmy Boxing, who I'm starting to think is like a bot or a troll. I'm not too sure, but shout out to Jimmy Boxing for listening. He did say that who's Canelo associated with Reynoso. We know a lot of people from that camp and associated with that camp has popped dirty. Um, and I don't think there's anyone saying that something shouldn't be done. The question is, what can be done?
Yeah, because how
You
much
know?
blame goes on the trainer? He could just say, "I don't
Yeah.
know what they do outside the gym."
And now he's come out and said, "Hey, I'm going to take more control of this." You know, there's a doctor in the UK, Dr. Usman, Dr. Uz, who was Tyson Fury's doctor,
Whoa, 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 whoa,
who
whoa, Matt,
was
whoa, Matt, whoa, Matt, whoa, whoa,
uh huh
whoa. Because
uh
I had somebody, I think it was my last live, and somebody came and said, "Well, Tay, you said that Tyson Fury be psyching on and off, in which we all know, but I say you also got to understand who he is dealing with." And I said, Dr. Ooze my name, but I'll let you go
yeah
ahead.
yeah. So Dr. Usman, to me, he's the Eddie Reynoso of the UK, so to speak. He's the drug guy out there, in my opinion. You had Conor Ben, you had Dennis McCann, you had Tyson Fury. You have guys that work with Dr. Ooze that have popped dirty. And the British Boxing Board of Control went so far as to say, hey, listen, just so you know, this guy is not licensed by us. He won't be licensed by us. If you work with him, you're doing it on your own accord and you could be suspended. And they sent that memo out to all of their promoters and fighters and anyone involved in the sport. So maybe should that be something that's done with Reynoso? Maybe. We'll see. Now, I did see another question in there that's asking about what happened with Aman Katayev with his drug case with the ITA. So, Aman Katayev, for those who do not know, he is a Russian fighter. He signed with George Camboso Sr., that's his manager, and he is with Eye the Tiger Promotions, that's his promoter out in Canada. So he was doing IBA fights. You know, for those not familiar with the IBA, it's like a Russian sanctioning organization who they're not really professional fights. They have their own section on BoxRec, you know, because they're not universally recognized, right? Because the IBA got banned by the International Olympic Committee. Now, during their IBA competition, because he was fighting over there, he tested positive in 2024 for clomiphene. Clomiphene is the same drug that Conor Ben tested positive for. Now, since the IBA is not recognized anywhere, unless they contact a commission and said, hey, we have this fighter that tested positive for this, if they don't formally in writing contact a commission, then a commission has no grounds to recognize or suspend a fighter for a positive test. So he was able to fight against David Morrell through a loophole because the New York State Athletic Commission claims that the IBA never contacted them about the test,
Mhm.
which I think is bullshit. It's out there. It's public knowledge. He's banned until 2026. I think if these commissions had any real balls and they really cared about the safety of the fighters and the fairness of the competition, then don't license him. No one says he has to be licensed.
Mm. Damn, I didn't even know that. That's crazy. Jay Brumfield says Bill and Senior both said that there was no contract, just short term being agreed to. In which I've said the only thing I've known about was just a term, like not a term, but pretty much agreeing to fight each other. That's the only thing I ever knew about. So I don't know. I don't, know if a contract was given while they was in New York. I don't know. I've never asked.
Hey, listen, Tay, I could have told you that they ain't had that shit in writing because the motherfucker ran the Twitter. I told you. If it wasn't writing, there's no need to run the Twitter. That's on Bill and whoever they are tasking to do the paperwork for Devin Haney. I'm sorry. Like, they don't get no sympathy from me.
Is this another misstep for Bill, Matt?
Yeah, yeah. Come on, man. Come on,
Mm.
man.
So that's the primary reason for testing out of competition cycling.
Yes, yes, cycling, yes. That is the primary reason for testing out of competition. But Jimmy, boxing, you have to understand out of competition literally means 24 hours before your fight. Just so we're clear. We're not talking about months and weeks out. It's literally 24 hours.
Mm. That's crazy. I'm glad there was a lot of information definitely being expressed and thought. Because again, like I said before, I've tried my best to look at it from both sides. And I've
I'll be
heard,
honest. And I don't have a dog in this fight. I only think there's one side, who whatever the paperwork says. That's
and
that's that's the
you've
side.
been saying that. You even said that on your own show as well.
Yeah,
You and
because I don't like the other nonsense. What does the contract say, and that's it.
Yeah, and again, like I said before, you two guys is the only guys I could really think about because you guys did a wonderful job breaking that down the other day, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna call them, and that's why I was like, bro, you sleep?
Now I see Jay Brumfield says that VADA tests for most drugs. I'm not sure what he means by that, but if he's saying that VADA tests for the most drugs, that's not true. Any WADA or USADA agency tests for the most drugs because there are certain recreational drugs that VADA does not test for. So, I just want to put that out there.
No, for sure. Well, man, listen, I know we've been on for an hour. We can go on and on and on about it, but at this point, I think a lot of people determination and minds have been made up. I know mine's been made up, and it seems like you guys' minds have been made up as well. So, man, I just want to thank you guys for coming on and sharing what you guys believe and what you think, and then of course the knowledge that you guys do have on testing and other athletes within the sport of boxing as well. Just want to say I appreciate you guys.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, man. Make sure you guys smash the like button before you go. Also, make sure you guys go follow us at Brunch Boxing or follow Ezra himself at Ezra Boxing or follow at Is That Your Face if you want to follow me personally. But definitely go follow the Brunch Boxing page for the latest and greatest in all boxing news and notes.
Yes, sir, man. I definitely appreciate you guys. Definitely make sure y'all go follow those gentlemen, please, and thank you so much. Appreciate you guys, man, for sure. Yeah, bunch boxing. There you go. Thank you. Thank you for putting that in the chat for sure. Definitely. Like I said before, they interviewed some of the biggest names in the sport of boxing. Whether it was, the guys in the suits, promoters, fighters, they are definitely the people to go to. And then we get someone who says, bro, we just need random drug testing for championship fights, top 10, period. I mean, majority of them are, but it also depends, again, if that promoter is paying for them. You know what I mean? Like, prime example, you have, let's say, the number 6 guy. Oh, I wish I could have asked Matt about the WBO testing as well. Damn, wish I could have asked him about it before he left. Said, bro, we just need random drug testing for championship fights, top 10 period. No, I can see that. I can see that, and I'm with it. But again, like I said before, I don't think you may not get that for all championship fights. I don't think that's what people realize. I mean, I've literally been in the locker room. Prime example, I forget who fight it was. Matter of fact, it was the fight with Charles Martin. Charles Martin fought on the card. When was that? Maybe it was the Fury 3 fight or Fury 2 fight. I can't remember which fight it was, but I mean, I seen Charles Martin go in there, change, and go back out and go to the seat. And I'm like, damn, did he test? So it's hard to say who's testing and who's not testing. Again, like I said before, depends on if that promoter paid for testing for that specific fight or the whole card. Not every fighter is able to pay for 365. You know what I mean? So again, I just think I look at it from, I'm trying to look at it from both sides. You know what I'm saying? I do feel like, again, no matter how anybody else feel, I do feel as if Bill is in the right, of course, protecting his fighter and testing and things of that nature. And like I said before, they don't want to go through what they went through with Ryan Garcia. I utterly understand that. But it's just more so of what you do after the fact. Like your action shows after the fact that this could potentially have been more than what people may see. Then, of course, you got other content creators, quoting exactly what Devin said. You got other content creators who saying, they flexing their muscle. I've seen so many different opinions and different scenarios to where I was like, you know what? Let me go see what everybody is saying before I say anything. Like I said, he went about it the wrong way, in my opinion. I believe I believe it as well. I believe that so as well. I just feel as if, and he literally did it the day right after Turkey said something. He didn't say Bill's name, right? He didn't say Bill's name, but what he did say was, I'm not going to say any names, but someone likes to run to social media. When he was speaking about the Brian Norman and Devin Haney situation on who was asked about the fight first. I think that's what the subject was. And then he specifically said, well, I like the council fights because someone, I'm not going to say his name, liked to run to social media. And then what he do the very next day. So it was just like, fuck you, I'm going to do what I want to do anyway, and this is what we're going to do today. So that's why I was like, again, I can personally tell you that I gave him the information. I told him who to contact. This is before everything happened, 3 weeks ago, right? I've told him. I've said it. I want to say this was like a day before, if not the same day. I can't remember that far back, right? But I know that I said it because he was like, who is Adrian Clark? I don't even know who the fuck that is. Where's his manager? My thing was, why not contact the managers if it was that serious? You see what I'm saying? Why go public about it? And now you have all these people assuming, oh, this looks shady, that looks shady, this, and third. Well, since he enrolled, ain't nobody saying nothing. But you're still getting people who don't even know that he enrolled saying, oh, this looks shady, this is shady. He enrolled, no problem. But I think it was more so of him wanting to do it on his time. And of course, he already knew that it was going to be they was trying to play mind games with him. But that failed because they was only playing mind games with the fans. All this is doing is making money for content creators, getting more views for content creators than anything. I can tell you that Shout in Aruba chilling. Shout in Aruba chilling. So I highly doubt that this is literally on his mind. He's enjoying his time. And again, like I said before, I look at it as a 9 to 5. Ask yourself, do you want to be bothered on your 9 to 5? I mean, not on your 9 to 5, but when you're on vacation from your 9 to 5, do you want to be bothered? And it's still not a guarantee that they will even go to Aruba and P-test them there. It's not even a guarantee that they will piss test them the first 2 weeks or within a week or within 3 weeks. It's not a guarantee. It's random. And I don't think people understand or know that. But me personally, I do believe that there should be testing for all fighters. But I understand that every fighter can't pay for it. I understand everybody can't pay for it year round. And it's nothing wrong with that. Definitely nothing wrong with that. Right? Definitely nothing wrong with that. But maybe there should be a boxing is the only sport that don't have a union. Maybe something like that should come about. So we don't have a lot of men with female tendencies. I don't know. But I do believe that, boxing has been what it's been for years, including the mob being in it and everything else. It's been like this for years. So it's nothing new. It's nothing new. I just feel as if I really do feel like as if every fighter should be tested. I mean, because even on like the regional scales, the regional fights, there's no testing in those regional fights. There's no testing in those regional fights. At least the fight cards I've been on. At least the fight cards I've been on, and I've turned down being on the main stage of, I think either 2 or 3 different Deontay cards, because that's just not the right time. But even guys that I do know who have fought on those main cards haven't taken a test. And that's why I believe that it should be testing for every fighter, not just championship fights or contenders or what is the other ones? You got the contenders, you got the champions, and of course, the regionals. People trying to come up the ladder, right? I believe that everybody should be tested. I don't think anybody should be singled out. Nobody. So then again, like I said before, I don't blame them for wanting the extra testing. I don't, because I think that it should be tested year round, all the time. If not year round, definitely leading up to the fight, whether it's 8 weeks, which is normally how long a camp is. Some people do 6 weeks. Hell, some people do 7. And for the people who do more than 8 weeks, this maybe coming off a long layoff, or you just got to get into shape, or you're having a fat camp. And I totally understand that as well. But there still should be some type of testing. Some people would say on the regional levels, like, you do go get your blood work done. You go get your blood work done. Some people even have had to pee in the cup. So it just depends, so. like I say, they won't crack down on this until someone passes away and the opponent pops dirty. Unfortunately, and I'm totally with you on that as well. I think that probably has to happen. In which people have passed away. Now, whether or not they tested the person, I don't know, right? But it has happened where people have passed away, whether it was blunt force trauma to the back of the head, or whether it was a shot that landed cleanly and it just did a lot of damage, or it just rattled the brain, shit the brain. Now you got fluid on the brain. I'm not sure if that other person was tested. So if it's happened before, but we're just not sure if that other person was tested. You know, that's basically where I'm at with it, man. Like I said before, I don't blame them. And most people would tell you they'll go tweet, or you just don't like the Haneys. No, that's not the case at all. It's not the case at all. Or you just want to hate the Haneys. No, that's not the case at all. It's not the case at all. But I look at it from all spectrums. Like I said before, I sat here and went through every video, every channel. People have different opinions. It's okay for a person to disagree with you. It's okay for a person to like a certain fighter. It's okay if you're Team Haney. It's okay if you're Team Norman. That's totally fine. Everybody's going to have a different opinion on what they see. That is fine. I'm just expressing my thoughts on what I see. Personally, I had no problem with it at first. No problem with it at first at all. But when I see the tweets that let me know, like, yeah, this really wasn't what I thought it could have and should have been. And that's why I said it was nothing but a dick measuring contest, just to flex my muscle. You know, you've already seen those guys was going back and forth on who was offered to fight first. You've seen those guys going back and forth and said, no, I'm coming to you. I'm giving you the opportunity. But, I mean, we all know you can't give the champion the opportunity. Yeah, I mean, you can say what you want, but you can't give a champion the opportunity. A peace of mind from PTSD. Yeah, man. But I do hope that this cleared up a lot of things. I have been liking the overall feeling. I haven't been liking the overall feeling I've been getting. It is what it is. No, I definitely understand your point of view as well. I understand your point of view as well. Like I said before, just because Norman is like a little brother to me don't mean that I can't be transparent and see things from both sides. Like I said before, I understand where they're coming from. I totally get it. It's business. It has to be done. I totally get it. But then again, when you come back with those tweets and it just those tweets made a difference. Interviewed James Kirkland. He said the night he fought Canelo here in Houston, his brother pissed for him after their fight. Hold on. Whose brother pissed for him? Did James Kirkland brother piss for him, or was it Canelo brother who pissed for him? Or am I reading this right or comprehending this right? That's probably because Kirkland was smoking weed. Yeah, I heard he was a big weed smoker and beating on women. Yeah, old James Kirkland, man. Damn, yeah. Damn, that's crazy. Oh man. It's a lot of things in boxing that a lot of people don't know. You know what I mean? It's definitely a lot of things that people don't know. And it goes on every day. Oh shit. So I did read it right. Canelo brother pissed for Canelo. But okay, so my next question would be this trick. How do Kirkland know that Canelo brother pissed for him? Oh yeah, that was publicly. You know that about James Kirkland? Didn't he used to date old girl? Shit, I think he shit wasn't the old girl Serafina with him or something like that. I'm not mistaken. I may be mistaken. I just thought that's who it was. Maybe it's not. Yeah, Trick. I want to know, Trick. Like, how do he know that though? Like, did somebody see him, or he was told that? You know what I mean? He said I would ask him again. Nah, for sure, I understand. Say, Tay, I don't try to get in boxes' personal lives. Yeah, for sure. No, I just that's when people say James Kirkland, that just sticks out with me because I know that was like a big story for a minute. I remember that for a minute because I think I want to say he was dating an old girl. And somebody was like, they was happy that he got knocked out because he beat on women and stuff like that. It was a couple women who came out and said that. That was like when they fought 2014, 15, somewhere along in there, probably 2016. But I do remember them fighting, and when he got knocked out, it was a couple women happy about it. It was definitely a couple women happy about that. I do remember that, but man, it's been one of those nights, man, for sure. But I'm probably for the hop in the shower and hop on Twitter. For the hop in the shower, hop on Twitter, because I got to get up in the morning. I got to train one of my fighters in the morning. He in camp right now. Yeah, we in camp right now. So I got to train one of my fighters. One of my fighters getting ready for another pro fight. So I got to get him ready, and we're going to keep working. But I appreciate everybody coming through. Trick, appreciate the super chat. I didn't get to shout you out. You know you have to, brother. I appreciate it. You know, I'm never in need, but I appreciate you. Master P say VADA don't do testing. They just responsible for custody. They get the sample from the athletes and it goes to WADA. Yeah, I know Matt explained that. But they do have different stipulations. Nah, for sure. Want to send you something I cooked for Junior. Shit, just hit me on the on what you call that? The X, the Twitter X. Hit me on the Twitter. I still call it Twitter. Fuck it. I still call it Twitter. And I don't say Twitter, I say Twitter. And I mean TWITTA, Twitter. TWITTA, Twitter. Not Twitter, Twitter. Yeah, you know what I mean? You got to put a little southern slang to it, Twitter. So you don't follow me. You don't follow me to send it. What's the name on there, bro? Well, send me the name on there. I'll follow it right now. Yeah, I'll send it right now. So that's what I usually call it. Got to add the Twitter. Yeah, the Twitter. And Bias Brim. I think. Let me see something. Yeah, I think Norman said something about you one day too. I gotta ask him, but I know he's busy right now. No, it's Twitter. No, it's Twitter. Let me see. I'm trying to find it. I know he said something on. I think he said something on Martin Nash page. Damn. I'm trying to find it. My bad. My apologies. I'm trying to find it. I just followed you, bro. Yeah, I just followed you. It was crazy because somebody came in here one day trying to act like you too. That's the crazy part about that shit. Yeah, I do remember that because I was asking. I got 2 different pages, bro. Because people be trying to get me put off Twitter. I actually got 5 pages. I actually got 5 pages, but I only keep 2. I only keep 2 of them up and running. You know what I mean? But my other ones, I haven't been on them in like 10 years. But just in case they try to kick a nigga off, I got a couple of them. I'm still in the game. Yeah, I'm still in the game. Because nowadays on social media, people feel as if you'll never see them in public, so they can say what they want to say to you and they can get away with murder. That's basically what it is. And then if I say something, then they'll report me. You know what I mean? So that's why half the time I don't even be wanting to say anything or say nothing back, because they only looking for a reaction to get you banned. That's all they do. That's why I really don't say anything. So once I learn how to play their game, I just automatically block them. But listen, man, it's early. I'm about to go get ready for tomorrow. I got to train my fighter, so I'm out. Oh, Nike, she know all about it. Nike know, yeah, Nike, yeah. You see, I've been behaving, and Nike used to go at it. Trust me. Shit, you had 2 pages at one time, didn't you, Nike? Yeah, I think Nike had 2 pages. Matter of fact, I think me and Nike had a conversation about that one time. About, you know what I'm saying? Just that's why I'm big on that block button. You know what I mean? I'm big on that block button. Like I said before, that block button undefeated. Who gonna beat that block button? Who gonna beat it? That block button undefeated. Fuck what you talking about. Block button, mute button. Bitch, I don't see it. I'm telling you. I'm up and out of there. Man, you can say what you want to me, but then some people, you weak because you did it. No, it's not being weak. It's that you want a response so bad. Yeah. You was asking how you got your page back. Like I said before, motherfucking logged in that bitch and got to working. Yeah, man. That's yeah. And then of course I met some people too. So, and then they actually seen that I was actually the person who was the victim. Shit, I don't have any more phone numbers. All right, man. Listen, I'm about to get up off of here. I'm finna head over back to Twitter while I go lay down, man. And shit, I appreciate everybody hanging out, man. I think that was a lot of valuable information. But my stance is still the same, man. I think that was nothing but a dick measuring contest. I based that observation off those 2 tweets. You know what I mean? Take it what you want to do with it. Run what you want to do with it. I know some people are gonna have a rebuttal. Some people wish that I hated Devin Haney. Let them continue talking. But with that being said, I'm out, man. I have no more to say than we out. Love, peace, happiness, and hello, world.
Before the paper, I knew they would say, and I knew by the looks on their faces. Niggas mad cause I did what they wouldn't do, say what I couldn't do. Look, bitch, I made it. I made it. Came a long way from the basement. Fighting on me, I ain't playing, y'all. These niggas ain't playing fair. If I would've known better, I'd do better. Took some mess and I learned from a new level. Bought some new shovels and some new stressors, and I'm ready for war like whoever. They counted me out, I can't count it all. Cause little nigga, I ball. I put them points on the board every time that I shoot, I'ma score, and you know I'm a dog. I'm really appalled, don't need no applause. I know I'm a legend, my name on the wall. First record with platinum, my second with gold. Did it independent, no deal at all. And they said it's impossible. Got them high cause I did them without them though. I'm the same nigga, slept on the carpet floor. Even back then I knew that I be poppin', so I really ain't trippin'. I swear I ain't trippin'. I got in my feelings and got me a million. Couple people I thought would be with me, but they not, so it's fuck all them niggas.
And then you next.